now I'm going to show you how to get to the More Than Mood Toolkit. First off, you're going to go to our website, familyaware.org, and I'm going to just refresh my screen. You can see the first slider that comes up here is for the toolkit. You can hover over this button and click it. That will take you directly to the toolkit page. Let's go back to the home screen for a second. In case we ever change this slider, I'm going to show you two other ways to access the toolkit. You can hover over mood disorders at this top menu, and the second option says More Than Mood. Clicking on that will bring you directly to the toolkit. Going back home, the last way you can access the toolkit is by scrolling down to these blue buttons, and the first option says Access More Than Mood Toolkit. Any of these ways will take you to the correct page. The More Than Mood Toolkit consists of 5 fact sheets, a 52-minute webinar on the cognitive symptoms of depression, 4 family story videos, a 2-minute video on what impaired processing speed looks like, a link to our Depression Wellness Analyzer mood tracker, and the Dealing with Cognitive Dysfunction handbook. Collectively, these resources teach caregivers and people with depression how depression can impact one's thinking and what caregivers can do to help their loved ones. Once you scroll past this About the Toolkit section right here, you can, of course, download the press release that we did about the toolkit, but if you keep going down, you'll see we provide an easy way to remember what the cognitive symptoms of depression are and how they can affect one's daily life. We developed this acronym, ROAM, which stands for Reasoning, Organization, Attention, and Memory. These are the cognitive symptoms that, when combined with other depression symptoms, most often restrict one's ability to function as a spouse, a sibling, parent, employee, or friend. I encourage you to read this entire paragraph when you visit the toolkit. It really explains the why. Why is this important? Why do we need to look at the cognitive symptoms of depression and what does it mean? The last line is important. I'll just read that really quickly. It says, you may wonder, why can't my wife remember to pick up the kids from school on time? Or why does it seem like my sister is never truly listening when I talk? ROAM symptoms, when coupled with changes in mood, can noticeably alter one's behavior and personality and put additional strain on the family caregiver. So now that we have a preliminary understanding of the cognitive symptoms of depression through the ROAM acronym, you can do a deeper dive into the subject matter and learn more about what caregivers can do to help those confronting depression. So Families for Depression Awareness, we developed 5 fact sheets. They're each 1 page, so very digestible, very easily printable, and they are great resources even to just tape on the fridge or keep near the bed for a quick review. The first 4 fact sheets, 1, 2, 3, 4, they cover the ROAM symptoms of depression, how ROAM symptoms affect the family, specific action steps caregivers can take to help their loved ones, and help themselves, of course, and how to interact with providers. So what questions do you need to ask? How can you bring up the issue of cognitive impairment with your loved one's providers if you are given permission to be in that room? The fifth fact sheet is a symptom tracking chart that caregivers can print out. So it's just 1 page, but you can make as many photocopies as you need. And the idea is to fill it out before each health appointment, and it will help the provider determine if treatment and our lifestyle changes are having a positive effect. So you can just go through and fill out that chart each time. And it's really good to bring as much of this information as possible to provider meetings, even if you're not able to go, even if your loved one, the person with depression, is going without you. You can fill it out, give it to them to give to the provider. It's just your perspective on how these symptoms have been either manifesting in your loved ones or the ones that have maybe subsided a bit. So, this last option here allows you to download all of these fact sheets combined into one download. So again, it's kind of just customized to your preference. If you are just more interested in one or the other of these, you can download them and print them, or you can print the whole packet and have that. So to dive even further into this subject matter, we recorded a fantastic webinar with Dr. Alice Medaglia, who I will be referring to later on as we talk about some of the other elements of the toolkit. And Dr. Medaglia is Clinical Director of Cognitive Health Services at the New York State Office of Mental Health, and she's also Professor of Medical Psychology at Columbia University Medical Center. This 52-minute training, entitled More Than Mood, Depression Symptoms Webinar, covers common and lesser-known symptoms of depression, medical research on cognitive impairment, how it affects families, and it offers some specific strategies for helping someone navigate around issues with reasoning, organization, attention, and memory. It covers how to raise concerns with a clinician and how caregivers can take care of themselves. So a lot of the information from the fact sheets is overlap here, but we just go into greater detail. So depending on the level of detail you need and the time you have to devote to learning these things, you can access the fact sheets first and then watch the webinar, or watch the webinar and then download the fact sheets just to keep reminders of some of that content handy. So what does all of this mean in real life? How are real families affected by the cognitive symptoms of depression? So we spent a great day talking to two families. They are volunteers, and they were great to work with. We have Don and Dan, who are brothers, you can see here. That's Don, that's Dan, and a mother-daughter, Monica and Maria, who also came to share their stories. And we wanted to know, what is life like living with depression's cognitive symptoms? So we cut all that footage down to 4 videos, each exploring a different aspect of Rome. So now we're going to watch one of these videos together.
My mother had seen an ad for National Depression Screening Day in the newspaper, in our local newspaper, and she and I had been arguing and sparring quite a bit. My behavior was extremely erratic.
My daughter was angry, anxiety-ridden, very, very impatient.
And so she basically told me, if you don't do this, I'm going to take a day off of work and I'm going to drag you in there myself. Literally throw me in the car and drag me in there. So I was I believe, my memory is a little, I think I was about 25 when that happened, 24, 25. I remember events very clearly. It's time frames that I have a problem with. And that's part of the depression. Really, the day that the day that she sent me, we fought over going to the National Depression Screening Day, it was really famous last words. I looked at her before she left the house and I said, I'll show you nothing's wrong with me.
I told her, you do that.
Yeah, and just very defiant. And when I came home, it was like, little mouse with their ears, going, well, have a seat. For lack of a better way of saying it, there was something wrong, but it had a name. And I also knew there was a way to fix it. They told me, no, you're not crazy.
In addition to Rome symptoms, people experiencing cognitive symptoms of depression may notice a change in their processing speed, We obtained this video produced by Columbia University and featuring Dr. Alice Medalia, who did the webinar that we mentioned previously, which offers a dramatization of what impaired processing speed looks like in everyday life. If you are a caregiver and you're looking for a more in-depth monitoring tool to help keep track of your loved one's symptoms, we encourage you to sign up to use our Depression Wellness Analyzer. The analyzer allows both the person with depression and a caregiver to define wellness, track moods, and print reports to take to the clinician appointments. All you need to do is click the login button right here, and this will take you to a new page where you can, first-time users can create a profile, use an email and a password to sign in and access the Depression Wellness Analyzer. We're not going to go through that right now. We just want to show you that this is a feature that complements the rest of what's going on in the toolkit, the rest of the other elements of the toolkit, and will allow you to track moods with a little bit more depth than the fact sheet Rome Symptoms Tracker. So we actually suggest using both. You can use the Depression Wellness Analyzer to track moods in a more thorough way, and just the Rome Symptoms Tracking sheet just to track those as you're going along. So we're going to close that and come back here. So last, as a part of this toolkit, you can download New York State Office of Mental Health's Dealing with Cognitive Dysfunction Associated with Psychiatric Disabilities Handbook, which takes a more expansive look at cognitive dysfunction as it relates to other mental illnesses. So depression is included, but again, looking at other mental illnesses as well. The handbook is 37 pages long and geared towards those who have more time to sit down and study material on this subject. In addition to facts and checklists, the handbook has specific narrative examples with accompanying suggestions of how families would help in each given situation. So thank you so much. We're going to scroll back up to the top. You have gotten a chance to see all of the elements of the toolkit. So thanks for going through that with us. We hope you can utilize it to improve you and your family's quality of life. We'd love to hear from you. We are going to put a link up where you can fill out a survey at the end of the toolkit page to provide feedback on this resource. Let us know if you're using it. Let us know if it's helpful to you, if there's anything that can be improved or other information that you need. We always love that kind of feedback to make sure we're constantly improving what we're offering to caregivers. Remember, there is hope. Depression is treatable, and most people improve with treatment. Until next time, be well.